Hello and welcome to another episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club. This is an ongoing video series where every other Monday I put a new video out taking a look at something from the wide world of anime. I'm going to be focusing on a subgenre or maybe looking to the past and a moment in history in anime, or looking at the current season of anime and talking about some of the things that are happening there. 2 videos ago I talked about the romantic comedies that are out this season, recommended 4 of the many romantic comedies. It's really busy this season. And they're actually, while there are some isekai, there aren't as many as you would previously had. And some are coming this summer. This year will still be big. It's still a subgenre with many entries, but not as many as we've had previously. But we're still going to go ahead and look at the spring 2022 isekai. And if you're unfamiliar, I've had a isekai explainer before. I'll say long and short of it, different world anime. Our main character goes to a world or is on purpose or due to some mystical force or just by accident, by happenstance, arrives in a world very different from their own. And there have been conversations about the inverse isekai, like if you are a character from a different world and you are brought to this world, what's happening there? And some people don't think that counts. I think it does. I don't think it's an inverse or reverse isekai. I think it is literally just, if it's a different world, it's a different world. It's a different world from the main character. So, like there's always conversation if Dragon Maid is an isekai or not. I think it is, but I also understand why some people would say it isn't. Tenchi Muyo is not an isekai because the main character is from Earth, or at least has lived on Earth his whole life. But War on Geminar, which features his younger half-brother, that is an isekai because he goes to a different world. Even if he's also partly from there, he was raised on Earth, so you get it. Let's get into the first one, which is also, coincidentally, my favorite isekai this season, Skeleton Knight in Another World. Skeleton Knight in Another World is a fantastic series about a gamer who wakes up inside his avatar, which happens to be a skeleton knight, and meets a cool little spirit of the forest friend named Ponta, fantastic little fox friend. Meets some elves that accept him even if he is a skeleton man because he's cursed. He's trying to keep that a secret. Now, one thing that's interesting as we've gotten into this season is he knows I'm actually not cursed. I don't think I am. This is just the avatar was of a skeleton knight. But he says like, oh, it's a curse. And in this world, it has been regarded and is considered a actual curse. So he is cursed, but it's not a big deal. He's overpowered. Also, a thing that I think is great is that he has all these skills and abilities, but he doesn't have like combat experience. And he's aware of that. And I think that's nice to just be like, yeah, he is an overpowered main character and he doesn't really have to worry about things. And he does have magics that are considered lost, to like short-range teleportation magic. And people are like, whoa. And he's just like, yeah, I got that. But he's also like, yeah, even if I'm strong, I'm going to lose to someone that's really skilled because I don't have combat training. And I like that. It's also very light. Anything that happens, like going to an elf fortress, or meeting a ninja, all this stuff is really exciting to him because he's a gamer at heart. And I like that. Let's talk about the other anime isekai this season that I like. Trapped in a Dating Sim. I'm going to read the subtitle. So it's Trapped in a Dating Sim is what it's commonly referred to as. The world of Otome games is tough for mobs. And our boy is in the corner here, right here, because this is the best promotional image I had of this anime. He is a mob. He is a no-name background character that's not important to the game that this world is based on. It's based on a dating sim that had like weird, it was like clearly because he complains about it as he played the game. He's good at it. He was forced to play it, but he complains about how like, oh, the villainess isn't really bad and all the boys are pretty and annoying and kind of shitty dudes, all the prince and his cohorts, and the main girl is fine but nothing like incredible. And why is there mech combat in this, and why is like the end game so tough? Anyway, because he's paid for expensive DLC, he's aware of all of the cheats for the game. He does well in it, and he kind of carves his own path. A thing I like about Trapped in Dating Sim is that the main character is an asshole. He's just a complete and total jerk. Because he hates the main character. He hates the pretty boys. He hates his position in the world. Um, he hates that a big part of this is he got to get married because women control all the power. He doesn't necessarily hate women, which is a distinction that needs to be made, I guess. But he does hate the power structure in his school and in the community. Um, and he ends up making good friends, and he has trouble kind of relating to them, but he ends up making friends with the villainess and who the girl who should be the heroine but isn't because there's a different heroine. And I kind of wish our main character cared more about who this mysterious girl is, because it's very obvious to us, the viewer. So those are the two isekai that I like. Now let's talk about an isekai that I wanted to like, but I don't really, and I stopped watching. The only isekai on this list that's come out this season that I am not currently watching because I gave up on it, and that is The Executioner and Her Way of Life. I love the premise of this one. The idea of like, well, maybe one of the main characters isn't an isekai character, but it's about a world where they are fucking terrified and against the idea of summoning people because these are teens with extraordinary abilities who have no control over that and have no emotional stability to handle these powers, and in some cases has been devastating to the world. Now, spoiler, everything isn't what it seems, and there's a connection between a girl who can rewind time and the girl who lost everything in a disaster caused by a different traveler, and now is dealing with that as an assassin for the church. Stop me if you heard this before. There's more going on with this church than previously assumed. And also, I can't tell if this is queer baiting or if they are in love with each other. And maybe that'll change throughout the course, but I also never think that, because if it doesn't start that way, it may end that way, but also maybe it'll be just subtext. I don't know. Anyway, this is one of those things where like I'm going to watch episode 12 and then maybe see if I want to go back and fill in the blanks, but I gave up on this one. It's a little too predictable. But it is at least a different kind of premise for an isekai, so I'll give it that. Now let's get into the shows that have a second or third season that I am not watching. And maybe you thought I would be talking about this next video, Ascendance of a Bookworm Season 3, because I do like slow life, just kind of like pace through, slice of life, slow anime that happen to also be isekai. I just don't enjoy this show. I don't know if it's the pacing. I don't know if it's the source material. I haven't read the manga, but I just like, I don't really care about her. Like, her quest for books is over, and then the show continues. And there's magic, and some cool shit happens, but it's not the point of the show. But it also doesn't feel like it has any weight in it. It does play into the idea of taking over, like, this reincarnation is, I have all my memories. I don't have this previous girl's memories. I'm in her body. And it does deal briefly with the repercussions of said thing. And I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm just not into Ascendance of Bookworm Season 3. And then we'll go to the next one here. Yeah, the other show, this is Season 2 of Rising the Shield Hero. Action scenes I think are really good. I do like the idea of what if you got isekai and nobody wanted you there, and through circumstances you are just shit on. I kind of like that, but I think there's too much of that, like, well, what about these people? And what about these people? And who's right and who's wrong? And it's like, okay, I don't know. I think the fight scenes are good. I think the characterizations are okay. I still have a lot of issues with the I'm a slave and in love with you trope that is so prevalent in isekai. The fact that my favorite isekai generally aren't harem isekai should be an indication of why I'm not necessarily pleased with those, and in this case, certainly not thrilled. I don't think this has taken over the world by storm Season 2 as much as Season 1 did. I may be wrong, but yeah, I'm not really into that. I'm not really into the show. Now we're getting into the one, we got one here, we got two more to talk about. We've got the One that some people would consider to be a inverse isekai, and another one that people might not argue isn't an isekai. So we'll get into uh, your boy Kongming, which is an inverse to some people because it is a guy who has been sent to our world, but he's the main character. So it's a different world. It's just a different world is one we're familiar with. I haven't watched this because it's like what happens when the genius strategist ends up in modern days and he's got to help hip hop people. And the premise, I don't know. I don't know anyone that's watching this. It's on High Dive and I pay for High Dive, so I probably should check it out. But it didn't strike me as something that I want to check out, and I do have a sordid history of maybe not necessarily appreciating the hip hop in anime, because voice actors aren't necessarily prepared to do that work. Now, maybe you think they're booked in this show, anybody who's booked for the show would be good, but who knows? I'm sure when the main actor, male actor, was booked for Kaguya-sama, Love is War, didn't know that in season 3 he would be rapping. Maybe that hadn't even happened in the manga yet. But yikes, oh no. There's a joke about in Jujutsu Kaisen, like, that they joke about how the voice actor isn't prepared to rap because it comes late in the manga and the first season of the anime already came out, and that's like a side gag, like a fourth wall gag that I liked. Anyway, I'm talking more about that than I'm talking about this anime, which I literally don't know much about. It's one that I'm not watching. We started with the two that I'm watching. The least amount of isekai I've watched in any season is 2, because it was, 3, and now it's 2. Because I don't know if this next one counts. I'm watching it. I'm quitting heroing. So, if you do not want to be spoiled at a mid-season reveal in this show that does feel like it comes out of fucking nowhere, you can leave now. You'll be left with the question of, is this an isekai? But you won't be spoiled as why I think it is. So go now to say, check another video, check my playlist. I've done 71 of these. Find another Pat Bear's Anime Club to check out. Leave a like, leave a comment of, are you watching any of these isekai? Please do that. And now we'll talk about I'm Quitting Heroing, which just looks to be a overpowered main character fantasy series where the hero pushes back the demon lord, doesn't defeat her, or the demon queen in this case, but humans are like, you single-handedly stopped the 4 generals and the demon queen. You are too strong. Please get out of here. We are scared of you. And he's like, oh, well, I guess I'll go help them because they betrayed me. And it doesn't feel right, but he wants to like help the demons and the demon queen and rebuild their army and kind of change things. And there's a reason why. Is that he's free. He's been released from defending the humans, which he is programmed to do because he is a artificially created machine to look like a human and protect humans and defeat the demons, because when he was created in the past, the demon world invaded the human world, a more technically advanced version of our own world, and in Japan, Tokyo gets mentioned. They invaded, and through the invasion, the machine age ended, or the machine age was born, where they used their technology to fight the demons, and eventually humanity's history is lost, and it's a magical world because of all this explosion of the demon world and all that, and demons and things that people that stayed, and monsters and all that. Everything changed, and he stayed the same, and he has, for thousands of years, fought for humanity. He defeated the previous demon lord when they invaded again. He is the last of many, and there's some ancient found technology, Deus Ex Machina and all that. But basically, I think it's an isekai because I think that he has traveled. He hasn't traveled to a different world. He's just a different world has born out of him. It is a fantasy world, but he is not the world he originally came from. It changed. The world changed while he was still there. So it's arguable. Anyway, I'm Quitting Hero is actually kind of fun. I think the character interactions are sweet and kind of cool, and I'm enjoying it. That is the show that I'm currently watching on High Dive. If you were like, I haven't seen that on Crunchyroll, because it's not on Crunchyroll, it's on High Dive. It's pretty good. I would say give it a try. Um, Even if you know this spoiler, it actually makes the show make more sense because he references like job interviews, and he before we find this out, he there is a flash of the future and him like on a helicopter. There are these little like telling things that are like, what's going on here that were like dropped in that are confusing, and if you know what I just told you, not as confusing. And anyway, that's it. Those are it. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 isekai. 6 if you don't count Unquitting Heroin. That's not that many. I mean, honestly, because there's like 9 romantic comedies out right now. And that's going to do it for this video for Pat Bear's Anime Club. I want to thank you very much for watching this video. Please, as I said before, leave a comment, leave a like. Let me know what you would like to see me cover. Obviously, in the near future, I will be doing my preview of the summer anime season and a wrap up of the spring season. That'll be live on my Twitch, twitch.tv/PatBear. But I'm probably going to do another weird manga video, but I don't want to do that next. I just did one of those. So I know that that's coming in the future. But what would you like to see me cover? A particular show, the history of it, things. I kind of want to do a One Piece video about Fifth Gear. Without getting into spoilers, the manga just put out a whole thing. The game done changed. So I kind of want to do a One Piece video. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Would you like me to talk about the weird revelation that happened after so many years in One Piece and what that might mean for the series going forward as we get into what will probably be hopefully soon the final arc. If there's not a small little mini arc before that, whatever, you get it. Thanks so much for watching. I gotta go. I'll see you in the next Pat Bear's Anime Club. Goodbye.